What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
This is my new 2019 Infiniti Q50 with the 3.0T, baby.
This is my new 2011 Infiniti G37X.
Today we're gonna get into the key differences and kind of a buyer's guide, because if you get a high-end one of these or a low-end one of these, you're looking at about the same price point. So that's what we're gonna do today. You're gonna love it. We're gonna show you all the differences, common problems. It's gonna be excellent. Roll the intro. That's right, guys. We got new freaking cars, both of us.
New whips.
I got rid of the Subaru. It started shooting blue smoke out of the tailpipe, and I was like, that's either a turbo or piston rings, neither of which I want to deal with. But we still have the Civic. Don't fear, we're still a Civic channel. You still got the Celica.
Yes, I didn't get rid of anything. I just purchased this car as well. So I still have the Celica, and we will continue to do work on that.
Yeah, but we are Infiniti boys now. We're gonna give you kind of like a bumper to bumper buyer's guide, because like I said in the intro, a high-end one of these, low mileage, last couple years of production versus a high mileage older Q50 are going to be right in the same price range. So here we go, we're going to get into it. We're going to start with your car, and you're just going to show us all the stuff that a buyer might want to know when looking at the two options.
Headlights. So the G37, a lot of it is more rounded, more bubbly, and almost like alien looking. This may not be to everyone's taste with the roundedness of it all. And the G37s also don't have LED strips that are on whenever the car is on.
You'll notice a huge difference. They are still kind of the same shape, but not much. They have this LED strip in the top that comes on whenever you turn the car on. And these use HID beams just like the G37. They both use HID beams, very bright, much more reliable than a regular bulb in terms of burning out. Now, both cars have fog lights. However, the Q50 does have turn signals here instead of in the headlights.
The front bumper is also less aggressive than the Q50. It's a lot more casual. The grille is different as well on this. It's chrome and just straight lines.
As you can tell, this is the sport model. These bottom trim pieces are not on the regular version of the Q50. However, they are on these. I like them, they're cool, but if you don't have them, you can get a front lip that'll look the same. Now, the grille is not chrome, and it is more of a honeycomb. Very cool in my opinion, much sportier looking.
The G37 shared the same wheels as the 2014 and 2015 Q50. So if you get those years, you're gonna be getting this exact one. It may be different for the sports model. We'll put up a picture if it's different. If it's not, Simon will put up text saying it's not different, you fucking idiot.
I have the sport edition of the car, which means that I got the 5-spoke, sportier looking wheels with a more aggressive offset. Another cool thing about the sport version of the Q50, you have a much bigger wheel with a smaller sidewall on the tire. Lower profile tire, looks cooler. I'm a big fan of it personally. However, this is a picture of the base model Q50 after 2015.
So this is the 3.7 liter V6 VVEL. The 2014 and 2015 Q50s shared this same engine, same drivetrain, and same transmission, just different body style. So if you prefer the body style of the Q50, but you really like this engine, the 2014 and 2015 are the years you're gonna wanna go for. But I mean, if you prefer this body style, like I personally do, then you just go for a G37. So Nissan took what they learned from the 3.5 liter engines in the G35 and improved upon that in the 3.7 liter in the G37. There are very few common problems that these engines have, and they are very reliable. A big one, they don't burn oil like the G35's 3.5 liter. That was a very common problem in the G35s, and these ones do not have that problem. One thing to note is that this car has traditional pump-driven power steering.
All right, guys, your resident mechanic here to talk about the common issues with this engine. There are not very many, and that is a wonderful thing. Check this out, ready? Boom, up here. This is the top half of your timing cover. Behind here, you got your cam gears. Then below that, you got your timing chain, tensioner, and all that nonsense. Behind there, you have two little oil passages that are bolted on with a gasket. Oil goes through there to go to the VVEL solenoids, which activate the extending lobes in the camshaft to enhance your performance above 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs. It's a cool feature. However, those from 2006 to early 2012 in G37s are known for the gasket material to fail, and it will lower your oil pressure and your V-Vel solenoids will stop working, at which point your car will be down on power, it'll throw a check engine light. It's a costly repair because you got to take this entire cover off, which includes getting all this crap out of the way, removing the radiator, usually removing the bumper and the crash bar. It's kind of a pain. So when we bought this car, we looked at the oil pressure, particularly the V-Vel solenoids oil pressure. They both checked out, they matched. That's good for us. We shot a vlog of us traveling 8 hours to go get this car for Noah. In that vlog, you see me and Noah go over this car with a fine-toothed comb, and it is like the ultimate buyer's guide for a G37, especially one with high miles like this one. If you want to watch that, the link will be in one of these corners. It is on our third channel. The other common issue with these cars is back here, way back here. You see this little heater hose? This guy I'm wiggling. Can you see those two clamps? In between those is a little plastic just tube pretty much that connects these two. Plastic, hot coolant, gonna crack and break. There are a lot of aftermarket options to replace this with metal, and a lot of them have a bleeder valve in there to help bleed your cooling system if you drain the coolant. That one is not cracked yet, so we're not gonna deal with it yet, but when you buy one of these cars, you should definitely check it. It's easy enough to see as long as you just lean over the engine and look at that spot. The last thing on these cars is the sunroof drain. Really odd issue. If you get water in your sunroof area, it will drain into the side right here, into a little cranny or a nook, if you will. And it'll go through a tube, down through the A-pillar, down, and it's supposed to drain kind of out the bottom of the engine bay, I believe. If they are clogged, you will see water damage around this area of the carpet, right in there. This car does not have any. Passenger side too, you need to check that one, especially because the body control module, the computer that controls a lot of the stuff in the car, is underneath a trim panel over there. And if that thing gets soaked in water, you're screwed. It's just kind of a dumb design, and the Q50s, to everyone's knowledge, do not suffer from that issue. Those are the three most common issues on these cars. I wouldn't worry too much about them if the car has low mileage. From 2016 on, the Q50s exclusively came with the VR30, a 3-liter twin-turbo baby GTR engine, essentially. Now, along with any new engine platform comes a ton of issues that cannot be weeded through until the public has this car and can put real miles on it. Common issues with this car are much more than the 3.7. The turbos in these will fail. They will fail. They're very cheap, and people got them warranted like crazy. They still are. Nissan has not addressed them and really fixed them that much. In 2018, they made them better, but they still fail at a high rate, even with no mods. This was in the title of the video, so I want to address it here. The earliest sign of failing turbos in the Q50 on the VR30 is oil in the charge pipes. This pipe or this pipe. When I first got this car, I took both intercoolers off. I didn't disconnect the coolant lines, I just undid this hose clamp and this hose clamp. Was able to pull it off, and there was oil sitting in both of them. And I knew what that meant, but I wanted to see what Infiniti had to say, so I called my nearest Infiniti dealership and I said, hey, when you see oil in the charge pipes on a VR30, what do? They said, we replace both turbos without fail. The good news is I have an expensive warranty with this car, even though it is past dealer warranty, and I will be getting them replaced for free, at which point I will mod the car. But as of right now, I'm leaving it stock. That's issue number one. Issue number two, if you have a Q50 with the VR30 older than 2019, there is a high chance that you have a manufacturer defect where the air conditioning compressor is not properly aligned on the serpentine belt, and your belt will wear out, rip up super fast. The dealers have a bracket they can install that will make the engine better. However, that has to be done. If you buy a car and that hasn't been done, that's not on the Carfax, you need to get it done because it's going to eat through belts and leave you stranded on the side of the road. The third thing that these engines have problems with that you really can't control, it's just a quality control problem. Nissan released a Select number of these engines with the blocks having tiny little pinholes in them known as porous blocks, where coolant would seep into the combustion chamber or the oil. If you start losing coolant out of your bigger reservoir, it can happen at any mileage. You may want to get that shit checked out by the dealer, because if it is a porous block, you have major issues. And if you're not under warranty, that's a new engine. It's a new engine. The fourth thing that these cars suffer from with the VR30 is failing injectors. These are direct injected engines, and they fail more than they should. And that's quite the job, seeing as how you have all of this shit on top of your valve cover. Not a fun job. If you don't want to deal with these common issues, the happy medium is the 2014 and 2015 Q50 with a 3.7 liter engine. You get the amazing, reliable powertrain of the G37 with the body style of this car. Now, why would you want a VR30 after all those nasty things I listed? Here's the thing. When it comes to aftermarket modification, which I know a lot of you are here for, this engine has turbos on it. And stock, they push, I believe, 9 pounds of boost, which is not a lot. And Nissan, to their credit, over-engineered this engine to handle boost. So with completely stock internals, stock car, stock exhaust, nothing changed, you can get a tune on this car and be pushing 425 horsepower to all wheels or rear wheels, depending on which package you have. That's a lot of horsepower for no mods. And if you get mods, such as intakes, exhaust, catalytic converter deletes, or high flow catalytic converters, you can safely push 500 wheel horsepower in this car on stock internals with minimum modifications. And your turbos will fail faster, which is unfortunate. However, if you take all your mods off and take it to the dealership with a warranty of some sort, man, my car, the turbos failed. I don't know what happened. They won't bat an eye because they always fail. It's wonderful. That is why I chose this car versus the 3.7. The 3.7, with full bolt-ons and a tune, you're really only going to make like 350 to the wheels, which is good for what it is, but it's not as much as this. And here's the kicker. Both of these cars have the 7-speed automatic transmission. However, Nissan once again did everyone a favor and over-engineered the fuck out of the transmission attached to the VR30s. The torque converter is 3 times the size of the one in the G37s or the Q50s with the 3.7 liter engine. They are meant to handle safely, reliably up to 600 wheel horsepower. They are wonderful, wonderful transmissions, and they will take the beating you put on them. So if you address or avoid or get lucky on all of the common issues on these cars, you can make a ton of reliable, easy, cheap horsepower on these engines. And that is why people like these cars.
Taillights. These are inspired by the GTR. Bigger circle on the outside, smaller on the inside. As you can see right there. It's got the dual exhaust. Backup camera built into the rear wing.
Okay, as you can see here, these taillights are very different. On the Q50, they entirely got rid of the double circle GTR inspired taillights. They're kind of sporty looking, they got some LED strips, it's super cool, but in my opinion, not as cool as the 2 circles. That is like Nissan performance on a taillight. Dual exhaust, also. Backup camera, that's pretty cool. Something interesting to discuss about the options on the Q50 versus the G37. Any model of the Q50, you have the option for front cameras, rear cameras, and surround cameras. This car has that. And that is a cool feature in my opinion. They're not high resolution, which is kind of dumb, thanks Infiniti, but they're there. And it's really neat. You have lots of different angles to help you park like an absolute beast.
Moving on to the interior, one thing to note about this is this has keyless exit. You can hit that button right there and it will lock the car.
One cool thing to note about the G37 that the Q50 does not have, to my knowledge, is the light up Infiniti logo.
The seats on the G37 are very different. They have a less aggressive bolster. Also, one cool thing to note, very luxury, it has the name of the car manufacturer on the fucking seat, stitched in.
It's pretty sweet.
You got your screen here.
G37 has navigation. Upper scale models of the Q50 have navigation. Both of them are shit.
Yep.
You literally don't want it because you have Google Maps on your phone.
Exactly.
Neither of them have CarPlay until you get into the 2021 or 2022 or newer versions of the Q50. They finally included Apple CarPlay. It's kind of silly.
Yeah. You got the phone setting. You can click it and you can connect phones so you can...
Does this car have Bluetooth?
It does.
It's pretty epic.
And it's got 2 clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You got your poor people clock and you got your luxury clock.
Good thing you know the time twice.
The G37 has a fully electric steering column attached to the gauges.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's look at the gauges here. Pretty cool. You got the bluish purple with the white. The middle screen is just kind of a old school screen, but it works fine. It's okay. Got some cool purple accents around the volume and tune knobs. Alien looking shifter. That kind of looks like the first Avengers type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Q50s come with snow mode, but the G37s actually just come with snow.
Just snow.
You press that button and it makes snow. These have seat heater knobs.
Seat heater knobs so you can get your buns all nice and toasty. So if you're looking for a G37 in this price range, you'll get a Bose sound system. Really nice sound system.
Comes with a sub.
Comes with a sub in the back. But if you're looking for a Q50 in this price range, it probably won't have a Bose sound system. So make sure to look out for that. Man, they're watching our videos. They don't give a shit about audio quality.
That there's a vape escape. It's escaping. Bye.
Back seats. Not much leg room. Especially if you're like my wife and you like having the seat all the way back.
You do have vents though.
Yes.
That's cool.
You got vents back here. You got a nice stitched in Infiniti logo. You got a center seat that can come down. Give you some cup holders. And you got a nice Velcro book compartment. I don't know.
The cool thing is this is just an Infiniti thing across the board. You always have an opening to your trunk. Back here is your sub. That big Bose thing. That there is your like 8-inch woofer. It's pretty sweet.
Sounds pretty good. What did you say?
The seats come with a much more aggressive bolster. And at least in this version of the car, the Sport Edition, I have an electric switch that will inflate or deflate the bolsters on the driver's seat. It's pretty sweet. Another thing in the Sport Edition, you can do that. You can't do that in all editions of the Q50. Couple things you will always run into in a Q50. 2 screens. Why? I don't fucking know. Here's the thing, guys. This top screen is basically the same as the G37. It's controlled with this knob. You got a little turny and you got an OK. Wow, that's nuts. Now, why they have 2 screens, I don't fucking know. It's in all of them. It's really dumb. And once again, up until the 2021 model of the Q50, you cannot get Apple CarPlay, which is really stupid. However, you do have the front camera and the surround camera as an option. It's not in all of them. And then you got this thing. This is supposed to be the most awesome head unit integrated with the car, whatever. You can do like some stuff on here, not much. And one thing that is really annoying for a lot of Q50 owners, they wonder, why do my rear brake pads need to be replaced every 30,000 miles? This is why. Active trace control. What this does is, every single time you turn the steering wheel, the rear wheel on the inside of whatever direction you're turning will squeeze the brakes to help you turn. Therefore, eating through the rear brake pads unevenly, and it's just stupid. It feels cool. Yeah, it's like, wow, I can corner like a boss. This is nuts. It's not worth it. Just turn that shit off. Infiniti Intuition, you can assign different like settings in the car to the different keys in the car. That's kind of cool. And you got your phone, your music, and all that stuff. A lot of the Q50s come with front impact warnings where it'll take your foot off the gas or apply the brake if it senses an impact. It was one of the first cars to do that. It's very safe. It's cool. The gauges. There's no purple. They're just white. And you have steering wheel controls to control your middle screen. It is an actual real screen this time. On the G37, you have to use the controls on the side of the gauge shroud to control what that middle screen does. This one, you have them on your steering wheel, which is kind of cool. Seat heaters are not controlled with a knob. Honestly, not my favorite. Whenever you press them, an option comes up on here. High, mid, low, off, auto. Not my favorite. I honestly prefer the dial. It's cool. Now, something interesting in all Q50s right here. Got the drive mode. You'll see we have 5 options. You got snow mode, eco, which makes you shift super low in the RPMs, standard, sport, and personal. Personal, you can set in this app, Infiniti Intuition. I currently have mine set to sport shifting, standard steering. That's another cool thing about this car that Noah touched on. These use a exclusively drive-by-wire system. This wheel, when the car is functioning properly, has nothing to do with the actual wheels. There's no physical gears or contact between them. It just senses what you're doing and turns the wheels electronically. However, there is a fail-safe built in where you do have a real steering shaft and it will steer the wheels manually if the drive-by-wire fails. Bluetooth works fine. My car does not have the high-end stereo because for the price point I was looking for, I couldn't find that. Also, Noah's car and any car you buy in the price point we are listing in this video will probably come with all-wheel drive. My car does not. It is rear-wheel drive exclusively. My car is rear-wheel drive, but in any edition of the Q50, you have the option to get an all-wheel drive system. Got the sunroof. Sunroof works just fine. Pretty freaking sweet. In terms of space, the back seat is virtually the same. You still have two vents here. You still have this thing. Cup holders. No book holder. That's unfortunate. And you got this through to the trunk. Pretty epic. The ones with the nicer stereo do come with a sub up there, just like the G37. Mine does not. But I will say, the stereos they put in these are really impressive for not having a sub. They sound amazing, and honestly, they're not too much to complain about in my opinion. Trunk. A lot of room.
Yeah, this is a very spacious trunk. It's got a really cool rug with the Infiniti logo stitched in.
Heck yeah. Trans fee.
You lift up the trans fee rug or piece of plastic. You got your spare tire and your tools and a jack.
Cool.
Good thing if you're looking to purchase one of these cars, a good thing to do is to check to make sure all that stuff is still there.
Yep. Honestly, guys, same amount of space. I don't see much difference here. One key difference between the G37 and the Q50. The Q50, a lot of the newer editions run flats as the tires, which is a tire that will not go completely flat. The sidewalls are thick enough to where if you get a flat tire, you can limp it home or to the shop. This car does not have a spare tire. That is not an option. A lot of people are upset about that, but the G37s have that if you like that peace of mind. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions regarding either of these cars or a comparison between the two, we respond to all of our comments every single time. Right?
Yeah.
We're pretty good about that.
Make sure to check out our other stuff as well. We got a podcast, Casting Out. Check that out. We talk about some goofy stuff and some fun stuff that we like other than cars.
Heck yeah.
We got a gaming channel. Check that out. And we also got a channel. The first vlog is going up at the same time as this video. We're also going to be uploading other vlogs and skits and just fun stuff that we do, just having a good old time. So go check those out. Also Instagram. We're on Instagram. We post like, what, 3 times a year? Maybe, at best.
Baby at best.
Baby at
Baby
best.
at best.
So yeah, make sure to check out our other stuff, and thanks again.